Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai Game News. We are kicking things off today with a story that is equal parts shocking and uncomfortable. As reported by PC Gamer, Epic Games is now offering players refunds on cosmetic items tied to the artist D4VD, following his arrest on a murder charge. For anyone who doesn't know, D4VD had a collaboration with Fortnite that included in-game cosmetics and music tracks. Now, in the wake of this arrest, Epic is giving players who purchased those items the option to get their V-Bucks back. Here's the thing though, and this is the part that's raising eyebrows. According to PC Gamer, the items and his music are still actually available in the game for the time being. So Epic isn't pulling the content entirely, just giving people an out if they want one. It's a tricky situation for a game that's aimed largely at younger audiences, and it raises real questions about how platform holders respond when a collaborating artist faces serious criminal allegations. This one's going to keep developing, so we'll keep an eye on it. Alright, moving on. And this next story is one that has people genuinely worried about the future of a very anticipated project. Assassin's Creed Hexe, Ubisoft's mysterious witch-themed entry in the long-running franchise, has now lost its second director-level developer this year. As reported by both Eurogamer and GameSpot, game director Benoit Richer has officially announced his departure from Ubisoft Montreal after 9 years at the company. He's heading off to co-found his own independent studio called Servo Games in Quebec. Now, here's the context that makes this really sting. Richer's exit follows creative director Clint Hocking, who left the Hexe project earlier this year. Losing two major creative leads on the same game within months of each other is not a great sign for any project, and fans of the series are understandably nervous. Ubisoft hasn't given a lot of details about what this means for Hexe development timeline or creative direction going forward. We're hoping they address this soon, because the silence isn't exactly reassuring. Next up, a story that's sparking some passionate debate in the gaming community, and honestly, some of it is pretty valid. As covered by PC Gamer and Eurogamer, an actor from Mass Effect, Andromeda has come out swinging in defense of the game, saying it got a, quote, bum rap, and placing blame on both a toxic online atmosphere and a publisher that may have expected way too much from it. The actor didn't hold back, suggesting that a vocal, hateful portion of the internet helped poison the well for Andromeda before people even gave it a real chance, noting that, quote, their love of hate sealed the deal. They also took aim at EA, saying the game was, quote, done dirty by a publisher expecting too much from it. And look, Andromeda is a complicated legacy. It launched with some very real technical issues that were genuinely mocked at the time, including those infamous facial animations. But there's also a growing contingent of players who, over the years, have revisited it and found a game they genuinely enjoyed. It's been over 9 years now, and with a new Mass Effect reportedly in development, it feels like a good time for people to look back a little more fairly. Okay, we need a palate cleanser after all that drama. And boy, do I have one for you. This one genuinely made me smile. As reported by both Eurogamer and GameSpot, PowerWash Simulator 2 is crossing over with the Star Wars universe this summer, and it might be the most delightfully absurd gaming collab I've heard about in a while. The DLC, developed in partnership with Lucasfilm, puts players in the role of a droid called P0W2. I see what they did there, who wields a specially designed power washer to scrub down iconic locations and vehicles from the original Star Wars trilogy. We're talking X-Wings, iconic ships, and locations straight from the classic films. GameSpot notes this is being called the biggest crossover in the PowerWash Simulator series to date, and honestly, who am I to argue? This follows an Adventure Time DLC that dropped earlier this month, so FutureLab is clearly leaning hard into crossover territory. I, for one, am completely here for pressure washing the Millennium Falcon. Arc Raiders fans, this one's for you, because the game just got its most substantial update to date. According to PC Gamer, the new Riven Tides update is landing as the biggest content drop Arc Raiders has seen so far. And the content sounds genuinely wild. We're talking buried treasure hunts, and, I want to make sure I say this right, massive robot ice cream cones on a beach resort setting. Yes, you heard that correctly. Giant robot ice cream cones. I love this industry sometimes. But it's not all beach fun. PC Gamer also reports that the update brings a major overhaul to the game's competitive trials mode, which has been a point of frustration for the community. The rework is focused on making trials more enjoyable and less punishing, which should be a big relief for dedicated players who've been pushing for that change. There's also a new limited-time event running alongside the update. If you've been sleeping on Arc Raiders, this Riven Tides update sounds like a great excuse to jump back in, or jump in for the first time. Here's a quick one for all the Nintendo fans who skipped the cinema trip. According to Eurogamer, a new report is claiming that the Super Mario Galaxy movie will be available for home viewing as early as next week. So if you've been holding out, waiting to watch it from the comfort of your couch, it sounds like your patience is about to pay off. Now, Eurogamer is careful to flag this as a report rather than an official announcement, so take it with a small grain of salt until we get confirmation from an official source. But if accurate, that's a pretty quick theatrical window before hitting digital platforms. And honestly, with how well Nintendo's animated output has performed in recent years, this will be a big deal for a lot of households. Keep your eyes peeled for an official announcement, and we'll update you as soon as it's confirmed. And finally, let's talk about Directive 8020, the upcoming sci-fi horror game from Supermassive Games, the studio behind Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology. Ahead of its release, a handful of gaming outlets got hands-on time with a demo, and the early impressions are mixed. On the positive side, PC Gamer came away impressed, saying Directive 8020 feels like the horror game Supermassive was born to make. High praise from a publication that has followed the studio closely. They highlighted the sci-fi setting aboard a ship called the Cassiopeia as a genuinely tense and immersive environment. However, GameSpot's preview told a different story. Their reporter came in as a self-described fan of Supermassive's work and left the demo session feeling underwhelmed rather than terrified. They expressed concern that the first foray into sci-fi territory might feel a little flat compared to the studio's strongest outings. And separately, Eurogamer echoed some of those same concerns, noting the experience felt a little underdeveloped in its current form. So we've got a real split in the room on this one. Supermassive has Oscar-winning talent attached to the project, which is exciting, but whether the gameplay lives up to the pedigree, we'll have to wait and see. This one is definitely on the radar. And that is a wrap on today's episode of Genai Game News. What a day it has been, from Fortnite refund drama and a crumbling Assassin's Creed production, to power washing X-Wings and giant robot ice cream cones on the beach. Genuinely never a dull moment in gaming. If you enjoyed today's coverage, please smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. New videos go up all the time, and you do not want to fall behind. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you going to revisit Mass Effect Andromeda, or has that ship sailed for you? I'll see you in the next one.